Hey, hey, it's Bishop again. Woo! I'm passing by Manhattan, as you can see. Woo! The city that never sleeps, baby. Woo! Odie! Oh, snap. Odie, you're sleeping, boy. Woo, fa. Hey guys, it's Bishop and Odie! Woohoo!
Continue on.
Oh wait.
T15 north.
That's my Tiffany, you know, the GPS, you know. Man, they could be annoying sometimes, just like a woman, but you know, you gotta give them some love. So, let me tell you, you know what? It is so hot out here. Oh my gosh, I'm having myself a nice clam bake right in my car, let me tell you. With Odie and COVY4. Nothing but the best. Forget about it. Woohoo! Oh my gosh. It's good stuff here. Traffic jam? Nah, it don't bother me. Not with Odie. Forget about it. Works like a charm every single time. I bet the people behind me are like saying, what the hell is he doing? I'm vaping, that's what I'm doing. Wow. Alright. Peace out, guys. Talk to you in a bit. I'm still stuck in this freaking traffic, as you can see. Woo, fa. See? Now it's moving. Woohoo! Oh, it's Bishop again. Wow, another traffic. But I gotta tell you something. You see what happens when you use generic BS? Let me tell you. You see? Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. I bet you that was Praveri. Absolutely sure about it. 110%. Look at that. Stopping the damn traffic, I tell you. She doesn't put out! There we go. Look at that. See? Now it's moving. Woohoo! But anyhow, I'm actually here because people are having problems with the kick again. You know why? The kick ain't GG, baby. That's why. You know? Forget about it. That freaking piece of anyway, this thing, I gotta tell you, it does work, okay? You gotta finesse a little bit on the tubes and stuff to get it to work. You may have to go and get some magnets. You have to get some other things to try to get it to work longer than an hour or an hour and a half. But it does work. The dual coils, it doesn't work, okay? So, and I found that doing dual coils with one battery, wow, I get a nice, much more of a punch than doing a single coil using one of these bad boys. There's no comparison, okay? So today I'm going to show you how you make a dual coil. It's very simple, all right? I'm going to use a kanthal resistance wire, 32 gauge. If you have a 32 gauge nichrome wire, it will work as well, okay? So if you want to do this with me, you'll learn something new, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to cut off 2.5 inches straight, okay? 2.5 inches. I repeat myself. 2.5 inches, Grandma. Two and a half inches. Get yourself the measuring tape. Measure that bad boy and cut the 2.5 inches. I'm doing that right now as we speak. Okay. My baby, forget my number. Milli Vanilli. You ever thought, you know, these poses, man, they lost all the Grammys that they won back in the day, in the 80s. Yes, it's for us old farts. I am an old fart, but I still consider myself young and hip. Okay. So, I got myself 2.5 inches of resistance wire. See that? It's 2.5 inches long. Exactly. 32 gauge. You know what we're going to do? We're going to bend it in half. Evenly. Okay? So we're going to do that now. See, I'm making a U. Evenly. With the thumb. Okay? So we want to put the two end points together. Okay? There we go. Anytime. My two end points are almost together. Okay, there we go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold those two end points like so. See, there's a little loop there, right? You know what we're going to do? Let's take a vape. We need a vape right now. Forget about it. Huh, that was hard work. You think? Grandma's probably saying, easy, easy, easy. Okay, let's get back to this. Alright, so we got the little loop. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're just going to squeeze these two a little bit in, just to even it out. Okay, see that? See? Much better. Now what you do is, you get the scissors, and you're going to put it right in between, and you're going to slice these two in the middle. See that? I'm going to slice them in the middle, just like so. See? Okay. Now, hold them from the bottom. Now what you're going to do is, we're going to twist these two together on top. And when you twist them, you want about like maybe 1/4 of an inch, about the distance that I'm showing you right now. See, it's a very small amount of distance. Okay, so you just want to, you can do it with your nails, or like I like to prefer, I use one of these bad boys, you know. So here I go, slowly. Remember Grandma, okay? She's doing it slowly. See? And it's turning. Turn, turn. And about 1, 2, 3, 4 twists. Okay? Now we have to test the twists. You know how we're going to test the twist? Let's take a vape. Sorry, I just came back from work. I haven't even gotten changed yet. So, I need my vapes. Now we're going to spread those legs. That's how we're going to test it. She doesn't spread. I mean, she doesn't break. No woman should. Silver, okay. Non-resistance wire. That's what I'm going to do right now. Now, once you cut the 2 inches from the non-resistance wire, do the same thing. Bend it in half. And this is 2 inches, actually 4 inches, I'm sorry, I apologize. 4 inches of its non-resistance wire that you're cutting. And then when you divide it in half, it equals out to 2 inches. Okay? So, we do the same thing as we did before. Evenly, the 2 ends, snip the top. Okay? Now, there they are. Okay, so I'm going to... Okay. Now, we vape. See how simple this is? Very, 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 very good. Oh my gosh. Oh, a little bit of Monsters. Okay. Getting back to this. Alright. Make a hook. Yes, a hook. How long of a hook? I'm going to show you. See that? See that? It's about, if I measure it, 1/4 of an inch. Okay? Doesn't really matter. Okay? What we're going to do is we're going to hook it from underneath. Okay? We're going to put this, we're going to hook it this way. Okay? Right underneath of that. Now we're going to use this part of the wire, of the non-resistance wire. Okay? Not this side, but this side. And we're going to twirl it on that top piece. Alright, we're going to twirl it around, whatever it gets us, okay? And then this portion is going to be looped underneath, and we're going to do another twirl all the way up to the top, okay? That's how we're going to do this. There it is, it's hooked. Now, with this, what you want to do is, when you hook it, hold it with your thumb, like so, okay? Once it's hooked. Now, then with your other hand, you're positioning where that junction point is. There we go. It's positioned. So as you can see, you see that? See the little T in between the two non-resistance wire? So I'm going to use this non-resistance wire, twirl it around, and then I'll continue it off with this one. Okay? You could use your hands, or my method of choice would be tweezers. Okay. It works good. See? Can you see that? See? Doesn't have to be hard or tight or snug. It just has to be turned, and you want to just make sure it's even as it's getting coiled, twisted. There we go. So see? See? Now what we're going to do is use this one and do the same thing. Okay. Just trying to make sure I got the grab. Being that I spun this pretty snugged, it looks like as if it's like a double layer. Now this is good because we want to prevent any shorts from happening or misfiring. Okay? It's important. So here we go. Now it's done. Now I'm going to hold the junction point from this hand, and I'm just going to straighten out the non-resistance wire. See? See how that looks? Okay? Now, we do the same on this side. So, with your thumb, you hold what was twisted, and then with your other hand, you move the two resistance wires close together, but give it a distance. You see how there's a little bit of a distance there in between each other? So with my thumb, I'm just narrowing it a little, but holding that distance from this point. Okay, so as I'm pulling it up, you know, there's no force being added to the twisties. Okay, so you're just straightening out the wire. There they are. Now we're going to do the same thing we did before. We're going to twist these two. Hard part, almost done. Yeah, you're probably saying, what hard part? This is so easy. This is so simple. That's right, it is. Told you Grandma can make it. Remember, 2.5 inches. your cutting of resistance wire, 32 gauge. You're slicing that in half. Once it's sliced in half, you do this, what I'm doing, you twist them together. Now, once it's twisted, this is a little trick I picked up. What I do is, I use this, I put it in between the two wires. You see? I make sure that, remember, being that we can't spread the legs down because the others are attached. So this one, we use this and just push it up, see? And it gives it a nice little space. Okay? Beautiful. Now, right, you're right, absolutely right. Now it's time for the non-resistance wire. And what do we do with that wire? What do? We hook. But before we hook, I need another 7.4 volt hit right now. Oh, she's beautiful, isn't she? All right, let's get back to work. So here's my non-resistance wire. We do the little hook. There's the hook. Here we go. We hook it. See? Wanna play fish? Wanna play fish with me? Okay. So now it's hooked. I'm gonna twirl. This side, you know, the small hook side first, over the T. Just like so. See? Twirling it. You know, guys, I was actually going to get myself a webcam over the weekend with the sale. But then somebody said to me, you know, Bishop, you should get yourself a camcorder. I was like, really? Yeah, it'll be a lot better than a webcam, that's for sure. I was like, alright. So now I have to start doing some research. But if you guys already know the answer to it, what are the pros and cons between the two of them, feel free, send me an email or in the inbox in YouTube, or comment it and let me know. I'd like to know your feedback on that. What should I invest in? Should it be a webcam or a camcorder? And if you can give me valid points between the two, then maybe in my next video I'll be using either a webcam or a camcorder. Okay, so I'm still vaping time. Okay, I know. You waited long enough. Okay, I hear you. Alright, we're going to do dual wick. Don't use single wick. We're doing dual wick. Capiche? What'd I say? Dual wick. Listen to me. Dual wick. I repeat myself, dual wick. Okay. We want 4 inches. Okay? See that? Now, this is exactly 4 inches long. Okay? 4 inches. This is the 3.5 wick. If you're using 3.5 wick right now, you have to do the following. I repeat, you have to do the following. Houston, we have a problem. Yes. What I did was, I played a little on the tip. Okay? Now, what we want to do is, you can tell that's a strand. You see that? That's a strand right there. You see how it's lumped together? You see what I'm doing? It's a strand. We're going to remove one strand carefully. Okay, you see what I'm doing? Carefully. carefully. You have to do this on a 3.5 wick. Remove one strand, and guess what? You have to remove one more strand again. Okay? So, once we do that, then these on the other side opened up. So now we can remove another strand. Here's the other strand I'm going to remove. Okay? And what I'll do is I'll just keep turning the wick. See? See? Okay, as gently. That way nothing else breaks apart. See that? Okay? Gently. You don't yank it all the way down like that. You're going to ruin the wick. Alright. Now, we're going to screw the wick gently in the direction that's already going. Alright? Softly. Now we're set to go. This is very important. If you don't do this, you're not going to get the good vape. It's going to suck. Alright? Do you want it to suck? I don't think so. Alright? This is going to be excellent. Alright. Turn it around this way. Forget about it. Come on, come on. There we go. Now, we want to keep the wick like so. See that? Just like that. Now, with the coil that you made, the reason why we had to remove those two strands is because it's overcrowding the space of the coil. We need to get a total of, I repeat myself, minimum 3 turns. 3 turns times 2 is 6. So you'll have a minimum of 6 coils. That's what you need as a minimum to get this thing pumping like a beast. Okay? Now, you want it pumping like a monster? Then you got to do 8 coils. Okay? But with the same amount of distance of these resistance wire. In order to do that, then you may have to remove another strand. Okay? Or maybe just use one 3.5 wick. Or you can use the 3.0 wick. And if you use the 3.0 wick, you may have to only remove 2 strands from that, and that's it to get you the 8 coils. Okay? Or if you have the CE2 wicks, the silica wicks, you know, the original ones, you won't have to remove not even 1 strand. You may have to just do double, and that's it. If you want to, then you may want to do triple, because you're going to notice that the thick juice it's burning a little too much on the regular CE2 silica wicks, even though if it's doubled. So this is 3.5. I removed 2 strands. That's it. And here's the dual coil. Now, to mount this on here, what we're going to do is this. This is the following we're going to do. It's very, 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 very important. Okay? Why is it important? Because we want to try to keep those 2 wires separated from each other as you're coiling. So you can't really do it so snugged and tight, because then it's going to narrow the distance. It's going to close in. Okay? So we want to minimize that. So the way we're going to minimize that is you're going to take your tweezer. And if you don't have a tweezer, that's okay, but you'll see what I'm doing. I'm going to take it from the junction point. You see that? From the junction point. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend it. See what I did? I bent it. Look at that. So now, being that I already did the first loop somewhat, I'm just going to mount it right on top. And I'm going to use my thumb and hold the junction point. My thumb is holding the junction point. Okay? Now this is already facing to go down. So very slowly, key words, slowly, help it go down. Okay, that's it. It's down. That's it. You don't want, now, gently bring it up. Okay. Now we examine it by using your thumb on your other hand and hold the junction point and where those 2 wires just went around. Then you look at and make sure that, seeing which it is, those 2 wires are not touching. Also look at the other side. You see that? The 2 wires are not touching. Okay? You have to inspect it as you're doing it. Once you master it, it's going to be like nothing for you. Okay? But being this is your first time, you see I'm going to put my finger on the junction point of the coil right here. Alright, I'm going to hold them both. Being that it looks good, I want to keep it that way. Now with this hand, I'm going to gently bring up the coil. Now, inspect it. That's what I'm going to do. And at the same time, I'm going to do the final loop. Okay. Here we go. So now we need a total of 3 loops, which will give us 6 coils. That's very, very, very important. Okay, for the success and enjoyment of this vape. Okay, I can't emphasize that enough. It's very, very important. And what's preventing you from achieving the 3 loops would be the size of the wick. That's it. Which is no problem. We can fix it by removing a strand or 2 strands out of the 3.5. Okay? Now, you can, however, do it single wick on a 3.5 and achieve it. You may achieve 8, which is even better. But if you're using a very, very thick juice, let's say Bubba's Bounty, 100% VG, stuff like that, it's gonna burn quick because a lot of voltage is hitting it, and the wick doesn't have enough time to resaturate itself with the juice of the tank. It's all science. It's not hard. It's not difficult to figure that out. Okay. So right now I'm inspecting my wick, inspecting my coil, because the coils cannot be touching. I repeat myself, cannot be touching. If they are touching, like I have an instance right here that they are touching, let's see if you can see that. This one right here is actually clinged together. So I'm going to use my tweezers, put it in the slot in between, and stretch it out that way. There we go. It has to be, because if it's touching, like I said, you're not going to get a good, you're going to get a short. Okay, you don't want to short this out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 coils. Okay. You want to make sure also that the 2 wires from the junction points, let me see if you can see that. Right there, this one right there where the junction point is, like you see a little loop, that's from the twisties. But make sure those 2 wires, you know, the legs initially, they're spread apart, okay? They have to be spread apart. Gently, you know, just yank on the bottom wick a little. Yank on this bottom wick a little. There we go. See, it's falling flush. Then you have to look this way and make sure you see the coils are separated. That's what we want. We're almost done. We're celebrating early. Alright. Alright, you know what's happening? I need Emil. Emil, the prophet Emil! Enlighten me for this massive vape! Works every time. Look at that. Tell you, God's gift to vaping, boy. Works every single time. Alright. Tighten up the assembly ring. And check it out. Juice. COV4. I'm almost done with this thing. Justin, I don't know if I can make it to VapeCon, man. I'm trying to see if I can make this last till I get my butt over there. Oh. All right. There we go. This juice is so good, guys. Good. It took me a while to figure out this. Like, I didn't know what to associate this taste to, you know, because I thought it was, you know, I felt kind of weird to say cake and soda, but that's really what it was. It was cake and the carbonated portion of the soda. No flavor of soda, just cake, rich battered cake, and with the oh my gosh, it's wonderful. All right, let's see. So now remember we cut 2.5 inches. I was aiming for 0.8 ohms. Okay, that was my goal. Well, let's see, what did we get here? 0.9 ohms. Beautiful thing, right? Who's the man? Woohoo! All right. Now we can finish building the assembly. And this is 0.9 ohms. Kaveri says 0.9 ohms, but on the actual box that I got from COV says 1.0 ohms. But I think it'll change once the wires are heated and used. It'll go down to 0.8. I have a good feeling on that. Alright. So, let's finish building the Penelope. Okay. Sure there's no wick in there. Hidden surprises, you know. Alright. Where's that juice? Oh. There it is. Alright. Wow. I guess I'm going to have to put out another order of this thing before going to the show. Alright, done. Now we're going to test it out. Vape it anyway. Alright, let me remove this Penelope. Now this one's like 3.5 ohms. That's what I'm using on two 18650 batteries. Put that on the side. Two batteries. Well, we only need is one. Okay. Like I said, just one battery. One battery. Like I said, no kick. Forget the kick. Screw that crap. Don't need it. Piece of shit. That's all it is. Piece of crap. I mean, don't get me wrong. It'll work on a silver bullet. It'll work on, you know, other things. But this is GG, man. You know, why do things, you know, go and use that for. Alright, so and I'm using an 18650 battery. Extending the telescope. Okay. screwed it all the way. Okay. Remember the trick I mentioned. Raise this up. Okay, turn it up. And that way you can use the air control. Okay. Now I have here 0.9 ohms, dual coil, 118/650, 3.7 volts. Okay. Listen up. Flow air control completely open. Okay. The cap I loosen up to the top. Okay. Let's fire it up. Hear that? Hear that? Let me open up the air. Wow. Needs juice already. Hear that? It's firing, like you could actually hear it. Dual coil. And let me tell you something. It's hitting me. Now, I have to have the juice control a little open. Let it soak a little more. Now, if you leave the power button and you're inhaling it for longer than 5 seconds, guarantee you're going to get some massive heat in there. Forget it. It's good stuff. And this juice, wow, it's phenomenal, man. It's freaking out of this world. Oh. So there you go. Now you know how you make a dual coil Penelope at 0.8, 0.9 ohms. Let's see where it's at now. Now, unfortunately, this is not going to work on Provari, because Provari is not going to put out at those ohms on a dual coil at 3.2 volts, 3.1 volts, 2.9 volts. It'll put it out if it was 2.7, 2.6 volts, but it ain't going to do it at those voltages. So, but here we go with the ohms. 0.8 ohms. See that? That was what we were aiming for. 0.8 ohms. Okay. So now that you saw that, and oh, I'm not kidding. Look, I'll do it for you. I'll even show you. I'll put this damn thing down to 2.9. Who's gonna smoke at 3 point? Who's gonna vape at 2.9? Let's get real. Power down. 3.2. See that? 3.2. Hit the power button. Look at that. E. Okay? Forget it. Forget this. Forget amateurs. This is amateur. It's good, but it's amateur. When you're in the pro vaping series, alright, EMEO, okay, and GG is the only way to go. Alright? Forget about it. That's number one. Forget it. Everybody else wishes to be number one. Or they try to be number one. I mean, look at the Atom. I mean, isn't that a joke? Come on now. Then they wonder why that shit don't work. You know? Please. She puts out, oh, one hell of a vape. Forget about it. It's a beautiful thing. Alright, guys. With that, I'll let you go. Peace out. Enjoy. Happy vaping.